The 99th time the secretary sent over the digital form, a divorce filing instead of a marriage license application. I lost it. I marched straight into Ethan's office, phone gripped tight in my hand. "Ethan," I said, my voice low and sharp, "is this what your Ivy League superstar is capable of? If she can't even tell marriage from divorce, she doesn't belong here." He didn't flinch, just lifted his gaze from a mountain of documents, glanced at my screen, then back at his work. His tone was flat, detached. "I told you she's overqualified for clerical duty. If you'd just booked the appointment yourself, it'd be done by now." He didn't look at me, not once. I turned without another word and walked out. Later, standing by the floor-to-ceiling window, I called my father. "Dad," I said, the city sprawling beneath me like a circuit board of broken connections, "I'm done with Ethan, with all of this." There was a pause, then a soft sigh traveled through the line. "You know his standing in the Hayes family depends on this union. Break it, and there are others who'd gladly step into his shoes." "I know," I whispered. But it was over. I could feel it in the silence between us, in the cold glow of my phone, where 99 notifications glimmered like digital tombstones, each one a mistake, each one a message. Maybe she did have a lot on her plate. Maybe next time she'd be more careful. But there wouldn't be a next time. It's normal to make mistakes sometimes. Don't be so hard on a young woman. I've already reminded her every time she made a mistake he made an excuse for her. Behind every message was Ethan's indulgence towards his secretary, Chloe. My eyes welled up and my heart acted as if pierced by needles. Just as I put my phone away, Ethan rushed out of his office. "You're getting both our parents involved over something so trivial. Grace, when are you going to rein in that diva attitude?" Ethan furrowed his brow, his words instantly accusatory. I wanted to retort, but suddenly my hand felt heavy, something pulling at me. I looked back and saw it was Ethan's secretary, Chloe. "Grace, I truly didn't mean to." The page kept jumping around. I distinctly remember clicking on "Getting their marriage license. I'll make another appointment for you and Mr. Ethan. I promise there won't be any mistakes this time." Chloe's face was crestfallen and her voice was filled with grievance. As she spoke, she pulled out her phone and started tapping the screen, punctuated by sniffles. Ethan's deep concern was practically overflowing. Chloe held out her phone with the appointment screen for me to see. "No need to make another appointment." My face was cold as I reached to push her phone away, but her hand holding the phone trembled and swiped, causing the phone to jump to a different screen. In the brief flash, I saw a close-up photo of Ethan and her. I grabbed her hand and she let go. The phone clattered to the floor, shattering into pieces. Everyone in the company looked over, but no one dared to speak, only cried louder, shouting, "Mr. Ethan, it has my voice chat records with my mother, the only keepsake she left me before she died. What do I do? What do I do? My phone's broken now." Ethan's deep concern deepened. He couldn't help but pull her into his arms and comfort her. Softly I clenched my fists, my mind filled with that intimate photo. Ethan had camera shyness. We didn't even have a single photo together. He wouldn't even take engagement photos with me yet. Now he had so many intimate photos with another woman. Suppressing the urge to confront them on the spot, I prepared to turn and leave, but wouldn't let me. "You break someone's property and just walk away, didn't you hear her say?" The phone contained voice chat records with her deceased mother. "Grace, at least pretend to apologize." The deep concern in Ethan's eyes was gone, replaced by pure disgust. "We apologize? Don't you think she's even worthy of one?" I stubbornly met his gaze, but my heart was utterly shattered. Ethan's face grew uglier, his words as cold as ice. "If you don't apologize today, we won't be getting our marriage license either." People in the company gasped, peeking out to winds as the public spectacle. Ethan had said things like this many times. Every time it was for Chloe, and every time I compromised. Ethan and I had been together for 10 years. He was the one I had chosen since childhood. I dreamed of marrying him, but now the dream was shattered and it was time for me to wake up. "Fine, don't get it then." Ethan's hand dropped, a flicker of surprise in his dark eyes. I didn't wait for Ethan to say anything. I turned and walked out of the office. "Mr. Ethan, you should go after Ms. Grace and comfort her." "I'm fine, there's nothing to comfort her about. She'll regret this in less than 3 days." Ethan's dismissive voice came from behind me. I took a deep breath, forcing my tears back. Ethan didn't know this time I wouldn't regret it. I was already planning to switch marriage partners. It's just marriage, right? Does it matter who I marry? That evening, Chloe's social media post went viral who just graduated with a master's. And found such an amazing boss. The accompanying images showed a 5-star Michelin restaurant, a brand new phone, and a screenshot of a romantic bank transfer for a significant amount. The last photo showed Ethan cutting meat and handing it to Chloe. Chapter 2. I looked at the 3 photos repeatedly. The more I looked, the more the 10 years between Ethan and me seemed like a joke. In 10 years together, he had never bought me a single gift, nor transferred me a single penny. What's mine is yours for the future, transferring money back and forth now is pointless. Yet now he was spending millions in one go. When we went out to eat, he always sat there like an entitled lord, waiting for me to arrange everything before he'd even take a bite. Every time I asked for a photo, without exception, he refused. But now Chloe had everything I wanted without even lifting a finger. My vision blurred and I couldn't help but shed tears. Ding dong, the doorbell rang. I opened the door to a delivery person. Hello, I'm here to deliver engagement photos. I haven't taken engagement photos. That can't be right. Isn't this Ethan's home? I nodded and the delivery person insisted he hadn't made a mistake. He carried in several packages, big and small. After he left, my hands trembled as I tore open the cardboard box. The engagement photos were of Ethan and Chloe, 8 sets of outfits, 8 different poses. Ethan had accompanied her through countless scenes, his smile glaringly bright. These photos pierced my heart like needles. I looked up to see Ethan, his arm around Chloe, standing in the doorway. Lend a hand, she's drunk. Ethan ordering me around had become a habit. He probably had forgotten our argument at the office. I didn't move, pointing at the pile of trash behind me. I'll give you 5 minutes to clear out this trash, including her. I pointed at Chloe, who was flushed from drinking and leaning aggrievedly against Ethan. There's no need to be so harsh. These engagement photos were taken for Chloe's mother. She wanted to see her married before she died. It was just to make an old woman happy. Why are you making such a big deal out of it? Chloe nodded, her eyes red. I just wanted my mother to pass away happily. I left my own address, but I don't know how it ended up being sent to Mr. Ethan's home. Please don't be angry. It's not Mr. Ethan's fault. Chloe sniffled and whimpered, always speaking with such an aggrieved tone it made me seem like someone deliberately looking for trouble. You're an Ivy Master's graduate, and you can't even get your own address, right? Is your head empty? Fine, if you're too sentimental to get rid of them, I will. I turned, grabbed the scissors and shredded both the wedding dress poster and the photo album. I picked up the photo frames and display pieces, smashed them to bits, then used the scissors to cut each photo into tiny pieces. No, Miss Grace, I can take these with me. Chloe tried to block me with her bare hands, and my scissors accidentally cut her hand. A sharp scream sobered Ethan instantly. He furiously pushed me away. I lost my balance and stumbled backward, and shards of broken glass pierced my palm. Grace, are you ever going to stop? Always breaking things, smashing things, hurting people. Do you have any dignity as a woman? Chloe's mother just passed away, and you've also lost your mother. Can't you show her some empathy and leniency? Ethan's words pierced my heart. My mother's death was my greatest regret. Ethan and I were studying abroad at the time, and due to travel restrictions, I couldn't return to say goodbye to my mother. I watched my mother's final moments through a screen. Even now, I still wake up crying in the middle of the night, haunted by the memory. Ethan knew all of this, yet at that moment, for Chloe's sake, he used it to provoke me. Ethan didn't look back. He left, holding. I stared at the wound in my palm, and a bitter sorrow slowly welled up in my heart. Mom, the man you chose is rotten to the core. I don't want him anymore. In the silent living room, no one answered. Chapter 3. My mother had always been very fond of Ethan. She and Ethan's mother were best friends, and they arranged a childhood engagement pact for us when we were little. It was only natural that Ethan and I would be together. That's why when the Hayes family was choosing an heir, my dad staked everything to help Ethan complete his high-stakes venture. At 20, Ethan leveraged my family's connections to secure $1 billion in funding. Later, when my mother died, it was Ethan who knelt before the video call, making a promise, word by word. Auntie, please don't worry, I will certainly give Grace the happiest marriage. Later, we returned from our studies abroad, and our wedding plans were put on the agenda. But then, early this year, Chloe joined the company as an intern. The story took a sudden turn, like a train switching tracks. As a secretary, Chloe often called and texted Ethan late night, once even when we were in bed. A Call came in and Ethan answered it. Without even pulling up his pants I had my suspicions and even checked his phone, but I found nothing the first time I saw Chloe. She was in Ethan's passenger seat that day was when we were supposed to be getting our marriage license, but before we even entered the building, Ethan was called away by a phone call from Chloe. I didn't even have time to ask what happened and waited until the county's office closed later. Ethan drove back to pick me up. The moment Chloe saw me, she shrewdly got out of the passenger seat and moved to the back. If Ethan hadn't helped today, my mother wouldn't even have been admitted to the hospital. Miss Grace, I'm so sorry, I didn't know you were getting your marriage license today. I'll handle your application for getting your marriage license next time. Caring about her, caring for her gravely ill mother alone, my empathy surged. I also dismissed my suspicions about Ethan and her, but the repeated mistaken applications for getting their marriage license forced me to re-examine their relationship. Ethan's protectiveness of her became more blatant, even humiliating me in public. It was then I realized that Ethan, through daily pity, had also given his love to her. After taking a taxi to the hospital to get my wound bandaged, I returned home. The moment I stepped inside, I was greeted by the aroma of food. Ethan was busy in the kitchen and he froze when he saw me holding a bowl of soup. Take the soup inside and apologize to her on your way, then this whole thing will be over. Before I could refuse, Ethan shoved the hot bowl into my hand. Seeing my bandaged hand, his voice carried a hint of disdain. Don't try that pathetic act, Grace. Honestly, you'd be better off spending your time reading and improving your demeanor. Compared to Chloe, you're not even in the same league. The wound on my hand burned fiercely, but it was nothing compared to the bitterness in my heart. Right in front of Ethan, I poured out the soup he had personally prepared. The bowl shattered upon impact, and hot soup splattered everywhere. I spread my hands. Ethan, you'd be better off getting your brain and eyes checked. I don't need to compare myself to her. Ethan's jawline tightened, revealing a hint of anger. Miss Grace, how could you do that? That was Mr. Ethan's personally prepared soup. I turned to Chloe, who was leaning against the doorway. Want some? Chloe stared at me blankly, and before she could react, I grabbed her. Mr. Ethan's personally prepared soup shouldn't go to waste. Then you'll drink it all. I pushed her head into the soup. Chloe struggled, hitting the floor and making whimpering sounds. Ethan kicked me in the back, then pulled me away, dragging Chloe into his arms. Grace, you're absolutely insane. Ignoring furious shouting behind me, I turned and went back to my room. Seeing the blood seeping from my palm, I finally couldn't hold back my tears. Standing by the window, I dialed the number Dad had given me tomorrow at 1 p.m. for getting our marriage license. Does that time work? The person on the other end seemed to still be in a meeting. He softly murmured, yes, that works. I'll have my assistant schedule it shortly. After hanging up, I received a notification for getting our marriage license. Among the 99 divorce filing notifications, that one application for getting their marriage license stood out. So it could be this simple. Who are you talking to so late? Ethan suddenly pushed the door open, his gaze falling on the bloodstained bandage on the floor. You're really hurt. Chapter. For a flicker of remorse crossed Ethan's eyes. He stepped forward and examined my palm. I didn't know you were hurt so badly. Why didn't you say anything? Ethan picked up the bandage nearby and meticulously tended to my wound, his gentle and careful manner making me feel a little disoriented. It had been a long time since he treated me like this. Ever since Ethan and I frequently argued because of Chloe, our interactions had been nothing but tense and sarcastic. When someone has been wronged and then suddenly receives concern, they often break down. At that moment, I cried uncontrollably. Ethan held me, patting my back and comforting me softly. There, don't cry. I know I've neglected you lately, which is why your emotions have become so extreme. It's all over now. This time I'll go with Chloe back to her hometown to finish the funeral, and then we'll get our marriage license, okay? My sobbing stopped abruptly. So his sudden concern was for this. I had naively believed he genuinely understood my grievances and realized his mistake. This time, I didn't throw a fit. Okay, Ethan released me, his eyes showing a mix of surprise and delight. Now that's my good wife. Ethan embraced me, kissing and holding me. His hands started to caress my legs, and his hurried breathing found across my ear. He rolled over, pinning me beneath him, and kissed me. With his eyes closed, I turned my head. I'm not feeling well. The man on top of me deflated instantly. He got out of bed, put on his pants, and left. I'm going to take a shower. You go to sleep. That night, I didn't sleep a wink even. Through the wall, I could hear Chloe's voice grating and irritating the next morning. When I woke up, the house was empty. I knew Ethan had taken Chloe to her hometown to hold the funeral after. Packing my belongings, I left the keys and the wedding ring on the coffee table as the door closed. My relationship with Ethan was definitively over. Chapter 5. At 1 p.m., I arrived punctually at the county's office. A black Maybach pulled up smoothly in front of me, and a man in a dark gray suit stepped out of the car. Let's go. I only have 10 minutes, I nodded and turned to walk inside. Careful. Marcus's shout reached my ears and I was pulled into his arms. A flower pot shattered direct Y in front of me. I looked up at Marcus, my heart pounding from fright, skipping several beats. You're still the same as when you were little. Never watching where you're going. Marcus released me, then took my hand and led me into the county's office. In just a few minutes, we had gotten our marriage license. Marcus had another meeting he was rushing to, so he had his driver take me back to his place. I looked at the marriage certificate in my hand, feeling an inexplicable sense of disorientation. Well, this is the man Dad chose for you. You absolutely can't go wrong. Dad called to check in, his voice filled with pride and confidence. Since I decided I didn't want Ethan, Dad had been constantly looking for a suitable marriage alliance partner for me. He and Ethan had many business collaborations, so he naturally favored Ethan more. Yes, much better than Ethan. My gaze fell on Chloe's latest social media update. Thank you for being there, making the loss of my mother less sorrowful. The accompanying image was a landscape photo. I knew she was talking about Ethan, and Ethan's like stung my heart even more. Ethan had never liked any of my social media posts, and on the day my mother died, he was busy with classes and didn't offer me much comfort. That vow he made to my mother now seemed merely to reassure both my mother and hers. With a bitter smile, I liked Chloe's social media post. Ethan pulled out his phone in the elevator and froze when he saw my like. He turned to Chloe and asked, "Did you like something using my phone?" Chloe blushed, stammering, unable to explain herself clearly. Ethan looked at my like and panicked. The next second, a red notification appeared on his social media feed. It was my social media post about getting my marriage license. Turns out getting a marriage license isn't that hard. The accompanying image was a photo of my marriage certificate. Who did you get your marriage license with? A message popped up. I glanced at it and blocked. Ethan, stop messing around. Marriage is a serious matter. Is this something you can joke about? The sent message showed a red exclamation mark. Ethan stood frozen at the doorstep. Ethan was consumed by rage, smashing his fist into the elevator's display screen. The moment the elevator doors opened, he rushed anxiously into the house. Grace, you've blown this whole thing up. How are you going to fix it? But the house was empty. The person who usually waited at home was gone. Everything in the house related to me was gone. Staring at the wedding ring and keys on the coffee table, Ethan felt himself lose his footing. He pulled out his phone to call me, only to find he had been blocked. Chloe watched it all with a face full of excitement, a sense of smug satisfaction washing over her. She picked up the wedding ring from the coffee table, turning it over and examining it for a long time. Finally, she couldn't resist trying it on, and by chance it fit her. To Mr. Ethan, look, this ring fits me perfectly. Ethan snapped back to reality, looked at the ring on Chloe's hand, and rushed at her like a madman. Who told you to wear that? That's Grace's and my wedding ring. Take it off. Chloe was startled by the sudden change. She cried, her eyes red with grievance as the ring was firmly stuck and wouldn't come off. Mr. Ethan, I can't get it off. Ethan looked at Chloe's swollen red finger, his eyes blazing with anger. Do you know Grace has a phobia of germs? If she knew you touched the ring, she definitely wouldn't want it anymore. Chloe, you're just a secretary who gave you permission to be so disrespectful. Ethan called 911 for the fire department to come. The firefighters examined it and said there was no way short of cutting the ring. No, that's my wedding ring. The firefighter frowned. Which is more important, the wedding ring or the person? If we don't cut the ring, do you expect us to cut off her finger? The firefighter's words sent a shock through Ethan. Then take her to the hospital to have her finger amputated. Chloe suppressed sobs erupted at that moment. She knelt, begging Ethan, no, please no, Mr. Ethan. I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have coveted Ms. Grace's belongings. I'll pay for it. Okay. Ethan stooped down and lifted Chloe's chin, his cold, sinister gaze making her Tremble uncontrollably, you'll pay for. If that ring costs millions, what are you going to pay with? The firefighters then realized this was a scene involving a wealthy young man and his kept woman. Shaking their heads, they said a few words and left, fearing would actually take her to have her finger amputated. Chloe desperately tugged at the ring. Not until her finger was bloody and raw did the ring finally loosen and fall off. It's off, I'll just wipe it clean, Mr. Ethan. Chloe stumbled into the bathroom, meticulously wiped the ring clean, and put it back in its box. Ethan's fury only then slightly subsided, but the next second he plunged into the gloom of being unable to reach me. It's all your fault. If you hadn't messed up the appointment, Grace, and I would have gotten our marriage license long ago. Go make an appointment for us to get our marriage license right now. Chloe had naturally seen my social media post and knew this task was impossible, but she was afraid of Ethan's anger, so she could only reluctantly agree. I'll make the appointment. I'll go right now. Chloe wrote her and Ethan's names on the appointment form. Soon after, Ethan received a notification for getting their marriage license, so was lying to me. I thought she really had gotten her marriage license with someone else. Ethan's anxious heart settled. Isn't Ms. Grace completely devoted to you? How could she possibly get her marriage license with someone else? Mr. Ethan, don't worry. Chloe let out a long breath, but her heart was pounding uncontrollably. Give me your phone, I'll call Grace. Chloe's hand holding the phone trembled. Chapter 6. Mr. Ethan, let me inform her you've had a long day. Take a shower first. I'll definitely handle this matter discreetly. Ethan thought for a moment, nodded, and went into the bathroom. Chloe, holding the phone, opened my chat window. Thank you, Ms. Grace, for your blessing. Mr. Ethan and I are going to get our marriage license. Mr. Ethan said he doesn't want this ring anymore and is going to buy me a new one. Wishing both of us happiness. Seeing message and the two accompanying pictures, one of the ring in the trash can and another a notification for getting their marriage license. I scoffed a few times and completely ignored it. Come down, I'm taking you to try on wedding dresses. When a text message popped up, I froze. I knew Marcus was very busy, so I wanted to skip many of the formalities. After all, with Ethan as a lesson, I felt a bit like once bitten, twice shy, but now Marcus's text message brought me a sense of peace. The first moment I saw Marcus after getting into the car, I still couldn't stop my heart from fluttering. He was Ethan's uncle. He had long since left the Hayes family to start his own venture, and now his holdings were no less than the Hayes family's. In earlier years, the Hayes family had intended for him to take charge, but later, due to my marriage alliance with Ethan was chosen because of the difference in seniority. Even though there wasn't a large age gap, I still felt a strange sense of pressure. Have you had any favorite wedding dress brands before? No, Ethan and I had never chosen anything other than the wedding rings. What about the wedding rings? I thought of the wedding rings in the trash can and shook my head. Then I'll take you to a few brands, and you can pick what you like. I've cleared my schedule for the entire day to be with you. Marcus expertly handled the steering wheel, and whenever he brake, he would instinctively put his arm out to healed me. A small warmth spread through my heart that day. Marcus accompanied me as I chose my wedding dress, wedding ring, wedding shoes, and bridal clutch, just like a normal man would. Don't you need to take engagement photos? Finally, Marcus asked me this. At that moment, my eyes felt hot. Yes, we will. My voice was slightly choked, and Marcus reached out to pat my head. I know a bit about what you've been through. I'll take care of that. Secretary of Ethan's for you. I remember you were quite mischievous as a child. You don't need to be so meek around me. I only have one request. Be yourself. Marcus's words, one after another, reassured me completely. Ethan wanted me to be refined and sensible, but the man before me wanted me to be myself. When he spoke of my childhood mischief, his voice held a hint of nostalgia. My heart melted completely in that instant. In the days that followed, Marcus would come back to spend time with me whenever he could. Even when he was busy with meetings, he would make time to stop by and see me. His secretary, Sarah, always arranged everything for me perfectly, from food and clothing to housing and transportation, without a single flaw. Marcus really likes you. I've never seen him so attentive to a woman. Don't worry, even though I'm a woman, our relationship is purely professional. My kids are 8 years old and my husband is the company's legal manager and one of his best friends. Sarah said this while helping me pick out a dress for the Hayes family dinner that evening. I actually didn't want to go to this family dinner, so I felt uneasy. Sarah noticed. She walked Over holding a pink dress Grace. Overcoming adversity isn't about running away, it's about facing it with by your side. You won't lose face in any situation. Chapter 7. Looking at Sarah, confident and vibrant in the mirror, I was moved. I used to be just like Sarah. The constant struggle with Ethan had slowly worn down my edges, although I yelled at them every day. The pain in my heart had stopped me from growing. I nodded and put on the pink dress. The family dinner was set at the Regency, Westport City's most prestigious banquet hall. Mr. Ethan, long time no see. Your tech company, founded this year, has had excellent returns. You absolutely must include us in your new projects next year. Indeed, the Hay family has produced someone like you, truly extraordinary. Marcus' capabilities were clear for all to see, so there were an unusually large number of people eager to talk to him. I don't like dealing with business people, so I stayed hidden, not far behind him, listening. Several younger members of the Hayes family also came over to greet Marcus, but none dared to linger. A few recognized me, but didn't dare to ask questions. Grace, I knew you'd come. Ethan's voice rang out behind me. I turned and saw him and Chloe standing together. You blocked me, so I had Chloe text you to come to the family dinner with me. Your coming means you're not angry anymore, right? Chloe's eyes held a mixture of resentment and confusion. Perhaps she hadn't expected me to be here, seeing holding my hand and trying to appease me. Her eyes grew even redder with anger. I didn't come to this family dinner for you, Ethan. I'm already married. I've gotten my marriage license. I pushed Ethan's hand away and stepped back, but brushed it off, smiling as he leaned closer. I know you're angry, so you're using a fake license to provoke and mislead me, right? Grace, stop messing around. I frowned, dodging him, feeling annoyed. I really did get my marriage license. Ethan chuckled, pulled out his phone, and showed me a message. I've already had Chloe make an appointment for us to get our marriage license. If you really got yours, how could we still make an appointment? Besides, who else could you marry if not me? Ethan's smug, entitled attitude made him look utterly punchable. I looked around but couldn't find Marcus. I show LD have stayed close to Marcus earlier. Ethan, this text message about the appointment wasn't sent to me. You should check whose application Chloe registered. I took out my phone, showed him Chloe's message, and held it in front of Ethan. Ethan looked at the message interface, his brow furrowing tighter and tighter. He turned, his icy gaze fixed on Chloe. Who told you to send a message like that to Grace? The application for getting our marriage license you made was for you and me. Chloe opened her mouth to explain, but Ethan slapped her, cutting her off. What do you think you are to be worthy of getting your marriage license with me? I was just pitying you and lending a hand. Did you really think this was some Cinderella story? Ethan showed no mercy, harshly reprimanding Chloe. The young woman was sobbing uncontrollably, apologizing profusely. I'm sorry. Ethan turned to me, smiling ingratiatingly. She messed up again. I'll definitely fire her this time. Grace, don't be angry this time. I'll make the appointment myself. Ethan pulled out his phone and started to operate it, but the application wouldn't go through. Why is the application failing? Why? Watching breakdown in front of me, I was reminded of myself, hysterically confronting him because she already got her marriage license with me. A clear, cool voice spoke, and everyone turned to look. Marcus approached me step by step, holding a massive bouquet of red roses. Chapter 8. All 999 roses were so large they nearly obscured half of my body. Do you like them? I heard Sarah mention you liked red roses. These were flown in from France this morning. I looked at the dew on the roses, my eyes welling up slightly. Yes, I love them. Marcus affectionately patted my head, then took my hand and stood before Ethan. Uncle Ethan stared at the man before him in disbelief, his heart sinking. He never imagined that the person I would marry would be Marcus. Grace, you secretly swapped marriage alliance partners on me. Don't you know he's divorced? How could you reject me? A brand new item for this used one. Ethan was perhaps beside himself with rage, and his words grew increasingly offensive. Marcus, however, didn't get angry at all, simply watching him lose his temper. One by one, the Hayes family elders arrived, and then Ethan's mother, Aunt, rushed over. Ethan, what nonsense are you spouting? She immediately covered Ethan's mouth, signaling him to behave. Aunt stepped forward and took my hand. My dear, I know you've been wronged. I've been abroad recently and simply couldn't spare the time to manage Ethan. I think Ethan knows he made a mistake now, so don't hold a grudge against him, using marriage as a bargaining chip for The rest of your life isn't worth it. When my mother was alive, Aunt and I were very close after my mother passed. She treated me like her own daughter. I knew she wanted Ethan and me to marry so Ethan could become the heir. Anything she said about liking me was merely an afterthought. She knew Ethan and I were at odds because of Chloe, and she was convinced I couldn't live without Ethan. That's why she never intervened. Auntie, I'm not holding a grudge. It's impossible for you not to know what's been going on between Ethan and me. Your eyes and ears are everywhere in the company. You simply believe that a man's extramarital affairs are normal and you just wanted to keep me in line. Ethan's father had always accumulated many extramarital affairs outside the home, and Aunt never, but she didn't know I wasn't like her. I couldn't just turn a blind eye and watch my man become rotten to the core. Unfortunately, I'm not a fool, nor do I want to be one. I took a step back, standing behind Marcus. Just then my dad and grandpa entered together. Well, this is lively. The family hasn't been this lively in a long time, has it, Grandpa? Grandpa smiled, looking at Marcus' hand tightly clasped in mine. Yes, this is all thanks to our grace. Grandpa gave his son a look, and Ethan's father quickly pulled at Aunt and Ethan stopped, causing a scene. Dad has a big announcement today. Grandpa went up to the stage and first delivered some official remarks. Then he shifted his tone. Today's family dinner is first for us to gather, second to announce Marcus and Grace's marriage, and third, Chapter 9. Ethan felt a stirring of unease. Aunt, meanwhile, stared at me, her gaze unwavering. Third, to announce that Marcus is the sole heir of the Hayes family. As his words settled, the entire room erupted. 3 years ago, Grandpa had appointed Ethan to the executive suite on the 28th floor. Everyone outside had rumored that Ethan was the sole heir, but now not only had the marriage alliance been reassigned, even the heir had been replaced. All eyes turned to Ethan. Ethan's face was ashen. He wanted to go up and demand an explanation from Grandpa, but his parents beside him held him back firmly. You idiot, I told you to hold on to the in family tightly. Who told you to go cheating? Aunt, exasperated and furious, gritted her teeth and hissed a few words. Did you really think your grandpa would have passed over your uncle for a novice like you, if not for the in family? The words hit Ethan like a revelation. He finally realized what a monumental oversight he had made. Too much time had passed, so much so that he had forgotten he'd climbed to his position on the in family shoulders. Seeing William about to step down, Ethan gritted his teeth and with a thud knelt before me. I was startled. Grace, I was truly wrong. It was foolish and blind of me to make such a mistake. I apologize to you. I'll fire Chloe today. I just strayed for a moment. I still love you. Let's go get our marriage license right now. Okay. Ethan, once so high and mighty, now knelt at my feet like a beggar. No, Ethan, I never revisit a past relationship. I pulled my skirt away and retreated behind Marcus. Suddenly, a group of police officers entered through the doorway and walked directly toward Chloe. You are suspected of intentional homicide. Please come with us. Chloe's face drained of color. She cried and pleaded for Ethan's help. Ethan was also stunned by the scene unfolding before him. How could she suddenly be suspected of murder? Ethan, her mother's serious illness was faked. It was all to get close to you, but later, to get between you and Grace. She intentionally gave her mother a special drug, which is why her mother's heart stopped. If you had been just a little more observant, none of this would have been hard to discover, but you were too caught up in your romantic dances. Marcus smeared. Only then did I understand what he meant when he said he would handle Chloe. Ethan's mind flashed back to the times Chloe always found a way to send him away when he accompanied her mother to appointments, and when her mother died, she hadn't even let him see the medical report. It was then he realized he had truly been deceived. Overwhelmed by immense regret, he let out a howl and staggered toward me, but kicked him, sending him sprawling to the ground. The family dinner concluded with Ethan and his family's downfall. Later, I heard that after Marcus took over the Hayes, his first act was to reassign Ethan to the African division. The corporation also underwent a major restructuring, with all shares being split and reorganized. Ethan's branch of the family would forever only receive a fraction of the dividends. Chloe was sentenced to 15 years for madraside and reportedly committed suicide in prison. Later on, Marcus and I welcomed a beautiful daughter the following May. At her 1-month celebration, Marcus gave me a blessed charm bracelet. He said, "This blessed charm bracelet will protect you and keep you safe your whole life." I Knew he was afraid during my delivery. I suffered a sudden severe hemorrhage. And Marcus had knelt outside for a day, and a night after I came out safely, he made a fervent pilgrimage to a quiet chapel to pray for this blessed charm. Bracelet, though it wasn't valuable in monetary terms, it was filled with his profound love for me, all one truly. Seeks in life is to love and be loved. Fortunately, I was loved and I was slowly learning to love in return. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your opinions and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you